My peoples, this is Versatility Vision with part two of Mr. Tupac Shakur, aka Makaveli. And as I said in the intro, as I said in the beginning, that I'm dealing with common sense because the shit's finna get deep. I mean, I'm just going through a lot of like general shit, general knowledge, just shit that people already probably know and probably want to skip past. And probably not a lot of this is important to people. It's like, oh, who gives a shit? You've heard it like 1,000 times before. Like, what are you trying to say? Get to the point. But like I said, like it was some people, you just have to understand that a lot of people just don't use common sense, or people don't critically think. And I know it's a lot of people that realize that and they notice it, because sometimes I listen to people and I look at people and I look at them while they talk, or I just hear them speak and I'm like, are you really that fucking stupid? Like, seriously? Like, what the fuck is going on? What the hell? What the hell is wrong with you? And that's just how it is. I'm like, I can't be from this planet. I can't be. Or they are not from this planet. Because you can't be that fucking stupid. And then it's like, why am I getting so angry? Because somebody was just dumb. That dumb. That ignorant. I think maybe they just don't know. There's a difference between not knowing or not wanting to know. So anyway, like I said, we're dealing with common sense here. We're dealing with, basic general knowledge, trying to use more than 10% of your brain to some point, It's just you have to you have to think about this shit. You can't just, these motherfuckers will be like, oh, well, this happened, and that happened, so this happened. No, shut the fuck up. Because you know what, motherfucker? At one time, all of us, 98% of us, even though they might say, I think it's 100% of us, but 98% of us believed that there was somebody that we never saw before in our lives. And the second person I can say, as an adult, they still believe in that shit too. But the first person I'm talking about is Santa Claus. Somebody told your ass that Santa Claus existed. And this was the motherfucker that was bringing you presents. And this is the motherfucker that was eating your cookies and drinking your milk when your mama, your daddy, your grandma, your auntie, whoever put them out. You believed it because you were a child. You had a childlike mind. And a lot of adults today still have childlike minds. So don't sit up here and fuck with me with that dumb shit. Okay? So just remember that at one time you believed. You never even seen the motherfucker. You just went up with somebody told you and you believed it. For example, I could tell you about this nigga named Charlie. I could tell you a whole story about Charlie. And he never existed. Never. You don't have to see him, but just what I'm saying sounds so convincing. I ain't never even met that nigga Charlie. You heard about that nigga Charlie? Yeah, I heard him mention him. Yeah, I heard him mention him. Yeah. Damn, that motherfucker Charlie was a cold, bad motherfucker. Never seen him, though, but I heard that motherfucker was cold. That's dumb shit. Ain't no pictures of him or nothing like that. But you could convince somebody, if you're strong enough, that nigga Charlie existed. So it's just like Santa Claus, okay? So that's my little rant about common sense. Pay the fuck attention. Pay attention. Put yourself in this position and figure out what you would do if you were in the position. Because like I said, after a while, I'm finna go buck wild on you motherfuckers. Exclude my language and excuse my language. I'm finna go buck wild on you motherfuckers because I'm tired of being nice about this shit. I'm so tired about it. I'm tired of holding everybody's hands and everybody else. It's just like, go over there on the other side of the fucking street. Stay there. Wait for the bus. Do whatever you got to do. Just get away from over here. Okay. So part 2. Now, we all have some type of, like, if you grew up around the hood or in the hood, in the projects or around the projects, you have some type of thug mentality. I mean, that's what you gain. That's something that you took from your environment. Okay. So, I was always like, was Pac really, was he really a gangster? But then I think of what Shock G was talking about. And Shock G, I really love Shock G because Shock G, he knew who he was before everything. Like, that man does not get the credit that he deserves for introducing the world to Pac because he's the one that really did it. I mean, yeah, you got everybody else, H.M. Gregory, and to the people that introduced him to digital interscope and all that other stuff. But Shock G just could be like, nah, fuck you. I can get another roadie. I can get anybody. But Shock G was like, y'all know the Maniac, and I knew this real deep poetic dude. So like a long time ago, I was like, I just didn't see no gangster in him. Like he wasn't. I'm not saying gangsters is stupid, because a lot of them aren't. Because the gangsters that I know or that I've heard of, they move in silence. So Pac wasn't stupid. I mean, he was young, so he was loud, of course. When you're young, you're loud, and you don't think. You just talk without thinking about what's going to come out your mouth or whatever. Plus there was alcohol involved, so like when you drink, you fucking get loud. Or Pac probably wasn't the type of person who was supposed to be drinking and smoking at the same time, but that's what he did. So he's going to be loud. Fuck all the Gemini shit. It's just like you get alcohol in anybody's system. That's what the fuck they gonna do. They gonna talk shit. They gonna get loud. So. But I just always felt that he had, the mentality of a gangster. Or I wouldn't say a gangster, but like a thug mentality. Like me. And other people that I know. And I'm pretty sure other people around America had thug mentalities, because they were raised around or in that environment. So it's like you have these type of survival skills to when it comes to shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and the people around him, probably influenced it. Like I've seen Thuggy Mortal. Probably in my lifetime, I've seen Thuggy Mortal. That's a little documentary on him. Just a little documentary on him or whatever. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. But when he was in Marin City, the dudes around there was talking about him, and not in a bad way. Some people, one dude was talking about him in a bad way, like I just think he was really hating on Pac. But anyway, so, the people around him kind of influenced him or whatever. And anytime that you're around that environment, you just pick up on little shit, Then you have, the teachers who are around him, pre-death row. He had Mutulu Shakur in his corner. This reminds me of a song. I'm kind of jumping ahead with this song, but White Man's World. He says the names at the end of his teachers. Mutulu Shakur, Mumbi Abu Jamar, Geronimo Pratt. It's another dude name I can't remember, but I hear it all the time. But those were his teachers. Those were the people around him. So Pac was very conscious at a young age. Even before I was, I didn't get. I mean, I always had it in me, and I was around dudes that was conscious, but I just didn't click. It didn't click on to me, and I didn't get into it like my mid-20s. That's when I did it. But he was conscious at an early age or whatever. So like I said, Shock G knew him as a deep person. He had that revolutionary presence. But it's like, I mean, hey, you this nigga making money, you can be fucked with, right? You got the Atlanta shooting. He went through that. It's just like once you go to court, like you just gonna keep going back and forth to court for some reason. I mean, even if it was with traffic tickets and shit, it's like you going to court, like that shit is draining. That shit drains your spirit. You know what I'm saying? And, then you have the Marin shooting that occurred. You got all these court cases. You got lawsuits. I mean, and you're in the public eye. You just not no regular civilian, living your life or whatever. Like, you're in the public eye and you got to smile and talk to the camera and be interviewed and go here and go there. Plus, you got the court cases, then you got the lawsuits, then you got to go back to this court case, go back to this state. Like, who wants to do that shit for the rest of their life or for years on? I mean, some people just can't handle that shit. They can't take it. And we're talking about a individual. We're talking about one person. We're not talking about the way you see him or the way I see him. We're talking about an individual who had to go through this shit. Then all of a sudden, now he gets accused of rape. The worst motherfucking thing you can be accused of in America. And I'm just speaking on America. The worst thing, especially a black man, the worst thing you can be accused of is fucking rape. You can be everything else. You could be a motherfucking serial killer and you'll get more respect in the penitentiary than you would even to be accused of raping somebody. You'll still get more respect as a serial killer, because no matter what, it shatters your image. It destroys your character just because this person said that. Now follow me on this motherfucking shit. Follow me real closely. So with that being said, that being the worst thing you could say about somebody, even if you didn't do it, it's a stigma that sticks with you because it's the fact that somebody said it, which is fucked up. And I've always thought there should be laws against, people who make false allegations. They should be charged with that. There should be a charge. Because I'm not taking away from, people who have actually been abused, but it makes it fucked up for them because, a lot of them people don't go and say nothing and they just let it ride. And, they're afraid to say something. But then the people who get away with it, they're not anywhere to be found. Maybe till years later or whatever. I just never say anything. And the people who don't do it, it's like, what the fuck? This has been proven. I didn't do anything. Like Pac said, now my life is ruined. He said my life. He didn't say this year. He didn't say my name. Not this year, not my name is ruined. My life is ruined. In the interview he did outside the courtroom. Now my life is ruined. My life. Because y'all said this. This is what y'all said. What you said about me. The worst thing you can say about somebody. Then now, you accuse him of that. Then you get shot. So what if he would have died? If he would have died, then he would have been like, everybody would have been like, oh, he was a rapist anyway, so he's dead. And nobody would have ever heard his side of the story. Nobody would have ever heard this and heard that and everything like that. Right before he was going to trial and everything, he gets shot. Coincidence? Bullshit. Fuck you. Kiss my ass. Ain't no fucking coincidence. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that shit. You was at the wrong place at the wrong time, like the one dude said. You're at the wrong place at the wrong time and you got shot. Yeah. Fuck that. Nah. I don't want to hear no bullshit like that. Anyway, so he gets shot. Was he shot 5 times? Like, I really don't know. I mean, some people say he was, some people say he wasn't. I mean, there's like pictures and shit like that that shows that he really wasn't shot 5 times. But the fact is, he was shot. I don't give a fuck how many times he got shot, but he was shot. I know, like, for a fact, he fucking shot himself in the groin, trying to go for the pistol. But, you know, he was shot by somebody else, so that's all that matters. No, who gives a fuck how many times he got shot? He still got shot. It was by who, though? Who shot him? Who shot you? Not the song, but it's like, hey, who shot him? You got all this stuff about, you know, Haitian Jack and Jimmy Henchman and all that shit. I'm not getting into that because it's a bunch of politics that surround all that shit. I remember he was on the phone. I forgot what the dude's name was, but it's a video on YouTube where he's talking to his homeboy. I forgot where he was from. He was a Crip. He was an OG Crip. Monster Cody. He was on there, and he was talking to him, and he said something about the A-Team. The A-Team in New York or something like that. These dudes. Those are the ones that shot him. There was other people saying that it was like he was talking shit about the drug dealers not contribute or something like that, and then they ended up coming after him for that. So that automatically proved that, you know, Big didn't have nothing to do with it. Like, he didn't have nothing to do about the shooting. But, you know, did Big know? I mean, I think probably Big was maybe he was hearing shit, but he was like, you know, Big probably smoked so much weed he didn't even have time. He was moving around and shit. But I mean, there was so much shit going on within that time with Big and everything. I mean, Big couldn't get a hold of Pac. I mean, it's like, I'm finna call Pac. Hey, these niggas is after you. So who knows if Big knew? But of course, you know, Pac said you was responsible because this is your hood. So I'm gonna hold you responsible. I mean, I would agree and I would disagree. I mean, first of all, I mean, if it was hot like that, I'd have had all type of dudes with me. I mean, I just been smart about it, you know. But in that time, when you wilding and everything like that, and you young, and you know, I don't know, like, you know, that shit was in New York. That shit was in New York, so I don't know. I don't know how they get down out there like that, you know, especially back in the 90s, you know. So it's like that's the way New York was. I would have had dudes with me. I would have had dudes just as soon as you see anybody suspicious, you just run in their pocket, right? I don't know. But, you know, maybe he knew, maybe he didn't know. So, like, I still to this day, I don't think he had nothing to do with the shooting. But I do think that he had knowledge of, like, shit going around, and maybe he knew at the last minute, like, what? I think he probably knew at the last minute. Like, oh, shit. That's fucked up. Like, the hope his ass don't pop up, like, and like, what the fuck I'm gonna do? Like, what I'm gonna do? I can't do nothing. I just know dude. But, like, that's shit. I smoke with him, you know. That's shit. Fuck shit. I don't know. You know, so he gets shot. Of course, he goes to jail. Now, this is where I want to start getting deep at, because I'm going to start this on part 3. But he goes to prison. And I would like to know more about his time in prison. I would like to know I know he was on 23-hour lockdown is what he said and everything like that. But it's like he in those jail interviews, it was like he was, because I know he was listening to a lot of people and everything, because he was like, niggas in jail was talking about there was 5%ers and he was talking about the Illuminati shit and everything, blah blah blah. But I remember he was talking about books he read in the Vibe interview he did. That one Vibe interview he did when he was at the house, and of course everybody knows the book that he read was Makaveli. Now, that book alone maybe influenced him to change his name, his alias, from Tupac to Makaveli. This is where a lot of people just don't fucking get it. They don't want to have empathy. And empathy means feeling for somebody else. Like, it's kind of like just putting yourself in their shoes and thinking like them, just if you can. But like I said, it's a bunch of simple-minded, dumbass motherfuckers out there that's not what they do. Their fucking attention span is shorter than the goddamn circuit. A shorting circuit that they just can't get it. They just say, oh, fuck it. They just short out and just like, oh, no. That's not what happened. I don't think so. Well, I can't put myself in his shoes. I don't know. I just think that this is what happened. No, that couldn't have happened. No. Fuck that. So, he reads this book. And I'm pretty sure he's writing rhymes and he's putting all these codes, because like I said, I am a master writer. I mean, I'm not a professional engineer because I don't have a certificate that says I'm a professional engineer, or I don't have the right software or technology that proves I'm a professional engineer, but I am a real audio engineer. I just have the shit that I can work with. That's all I could do. If you gave me some real high-tech shit, then of course I'll blow your mind away with some shit. But then as far as writing, I am a writer. I've been writing since writer's workshop in elementary school. So nigga, I could write. I could write some shit. And I know how to encode messages in writing. I mean, I've written songs. I remember when I was younger, I used to be, with this one girl, and I wrote a song, and she was like, who the fuck you talking about? I just made it up. I ain't talking about nobody. Like, hey, you talking about some bitch, ain't you? Who the fuck is that bitch you talk about in your song? I was like, I just made the shit up. That type of influence. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I think that, that's the type of power he had as a writer. He was a poet. That's like me. I can relate to that shit. The power of the pen, writing that shit down, you could put messages and codes in there. And it's like, if I'm writing this shit and I'll say, okay, when people hear this, only the real motherfuckers gonna understand. I'm not finna just hold your hand and tell you what I'm finna do, what I'm about to do, what's going on. Only the real motherfuckers will understand. Those are my real fans. That's probably what Pac was saying. Because these are the motherfuckers that understand. Like when he had to go from revolutionary to gangster persona, he already knew he could reach people in revolutionary, but that wasn't enough, because that wasn't the masses. So you had to, you got to play gangster. You got to reach a bigger crowd. You got to reach a different demographic. So he understood that. He understood that type of strategy, and he understood that type of marketing when it came to that. And he did. He did it successfully. That's what a lot of other people nowadays are trying to do. They're trying to do the same exact thing. And a lot of these songs were not radio songs. A lot of these songs you would have to go through. And of course, sometimes Pac did regurgitate, his phrases and everything like that. But there are some songs that you can listen to I would say in particularly, maybe I wouldn't say strictly for my niggas. Strictly for my niggas was like a shout out album. But Me Against the World, yeah, like I say me it started for Me Against the World. So this is what we gonna get into. And I can't wait for that shit. I don't even know if I'm gonna do it tonight. I don't know. I want to do it tonight, but I might not because it's late. But I want time to because I'm getting deep in part 3. I'm getting deep in part 3 because this is what motherfuckers. If you ain't been paying attention since now, well, since then you can pay attention now because otherwise you just shut the fuck up, turn it off, and don't worry about it. Just leave it alone because now I'm going to start twisting your head and I'm finna start making you just trying to get you to understand, understand, and overstand a lot of the shit that I'm finna say. So y'all get ready for that. And I know I've been cursing, but I'm a grown ass motherfucking man. Fuck you. Fuck that. Alright? This ain't emotion either. This is me. This is me talking. This ain't me being passionate about the subject. This is me. I get deep into shit, nigga. That's what I do. I pick the fruit from the motherfucking tree even when you can't reach it. Anyway, versatility, vision. Y'all stay sharp, keep fit, make good decisions always.